Hello and welcome to tutorial 211. We're going to be drawing a rectangle on a chart, and we're doing this similar to quick tip 95. We're going to be drawing the rectangle between 2 times 842 and 843, and the highest high of that rectangle is going to be the highest high of the price between those times, and the lowest low is going to be equal to the lowest low of the price during those times. So we're just waiting for that time to occur, and then we'll start seeing this rectangle forming on the chart. Okay, so you can see the rectangle starting to form, and the highest high is changing with the highs and the lows of the bars. Now, what's happening now is when the time is up, I've set it for a minute, what's going to happen is the rectangle is going to be extended to the right of the chart, and that is the green rectangle that you can see now. But you'll notice it's still being updated because we're still between the 2 times, so this will get made higher and lower as necessary while we're between those times. But as soon as we're out of the time, which is when the green rectangle begins, then doesn't matter what price does those, the green high and low will remain the same. So we're now outside that original time, and so the bars, as you'll see, we've just got one that's lower than the rectangle, and that's just doesn't alter the rectangles because the green is just extending the rectangle form during those times. So let's have a look at the program, and the rectangle itself is being drawn using a method. If you're not familiar with the code, what you can do is double click on the rectangle in the toolbox and then look at view the designer generated code. I've already created a method here which returns a rectangle, and we're putting into that the start and end times, high, price low, the color, the transparency, and a boolean. And when the boolean is set to true, then the rectangle is extended to the right. Okay, so on the one statement, what we do is convert the date and time which are in the inputs to a DateTime object. We can do that using from el date and time, which is a standard function. Notice also that we can use a fraction portion of the time to be able to input a number of seconds. What we also do is initialize an instance of the right of the date time, because we're going to be storing in there the right display date time, which is going to be storing the value of the date time of the bar, the very rightmost bar on the chart, or rather the rightmost time on the chart. You can see there's no bar there at the moment because we've got several bars, or we've just show you. We put space to the right 10 bars, so that essentially finds the bar, which is in this case about 846.05. Okay, so that is that, and we store that value by using this function here, el datetime x, and what we store into that is the getInfo AI right display date time, and then that is effectively converted into a datetime object. Now I've got another one statement here. This one statement happens on the last bar of the chart, and what we do is we create datetime points using the datetime object we've already created, and also the lowest low and the highest high, and we're going to be calculating those in a moment. One thing to notice is that if the end time is greater than the right display date time, in other words, if the value of the end time input is actually greater than the value of the bar that would be about here to the right of the chart, then what we do is we use the value of the right display d time rather than the dt end time. And of course we're doing this on as we update the rectangle lower down the program, that is updated. And then we draw the rectangle. We draw the first rectangle, which is the one that I've set to red, I think, in this example. And we also create the other box rectangle. So this is in a once statement. So this just happens once. What we do need to do is work out the highest high and the lowest low. So we need to reset that. So we say if the date time 1 bar ago is less than the start time, and then this bar is greater or equal, then we reset those. And then we just find out the highest high and lowest low using the simple, if high is greater than the highest high, then highest high equals high. And similarly with the low, and I'm just printing those out just to let us know what's going on. And that is, as I say, between the start time and the end time. And then we get to this part of the program, which is quite important. This is where we're extending the rectangle. So if it's the last bar on the chart, if highest high is not equal to 0, in other words, we have actually started calculating between the two times, then we create recreate the start date time point using the start date time and the lowest low, and again we calculate the end time point using making sure that the value of the end time point is using the right display DT. If the end time is greater than that, or we use the end time if we've already gone past that time. And then we simply checking that we are between or equal to the end time, we can set the start point and set the end point of the effectively the red rectangle, and we can also adjust the extension box. Incidentally, notice that I've appended some namespaces, and you'll see the reason why each of those namespaces is included. Also note the date. We have 124 represents 2024, 12 is the month, and 27 is the day in the month. And if we were going to include seconds, what we'd do is when we put the inputs in, we would put in the number of seconds like so, which would be 30 seconds. So the program also works historically. So if I were to just go back to, for example, a minutes chart, and if we were to go between say 7:50 and 8:20, so I'm just going to put the inputs in. You'll see that it draws the rectangle between the high and the lows, between the two times, and then continues it as the extension, the green rectangle. Anyway, hopefully that might be useful. If you spot any bugs or have any questions, then feel free to let me know. Please also go to Markplex, that's markplex.com, and sign up for the email list. And wherever you're watching this video, if you could give it a like or subscribe to the Markplex channel, that would be appreciated. Thank you very much.